So today we're going to be talking about the WNBA finals. Apologies for the HUD up, lads. It's getting a little bit cold. It's getting a little bit chilly right here, and turning on the heat costs money for too long. So it'll be a cold winter in the DVG or the Mick Talks Hoops household this winter. But where it isn't gonna be a cold winter is for the WNBA TV execs, where they're gonna be making a boatload of money because they have just hit record viewership for the WNBA finals. And I'm just saying, they're still on the awful TV deal. The TV deal is not kicked in yet, so they're getting 1 million viewers for the final. The first time they've hit the 1 million viewer mark in 21 years. WNBA final scored the largest audience in more than 2 decades. It averages 0.6 rating and 1.14 million viewers on ESPN, making it the largest game since Game 2 of the 2003 series. And by the way, early 2000s don't count. Early 2000s doesn't count because it's when everyone watched TV. No illegal streaming, nothing, and no Netflix. The previous high for finals opener was 1.07 million in Game 1 of the 1998 series. 1998. 1998. Like, if one wants to get technical, the single game elimination, that doesn't count. But like, it was just 5 years ago that Game 1 averaged 238,000. So, nearly 5 times. Nearly 5 times. 351 for the Bubble, 469 for the Sky Mercury, 550 and 729. It grew by like 500,000. Like nearly 500,000 viewers. I wonder what it peaked at during overtime as well. 27 telecasts to hit 1 million viewers. I mean, at the same time, like more than half of them are Caitlin Clark. What am I talking about? Like 23 of them are Caitlin Clark. It was only the third, 24 of them actually. Third did not either feature or directly follow Caitlin Clark in the Fever. What were the 1 million viewer ones? I think none of the Aces and Liberty games hit 1 million, I don't think. One was a Sky and Aces game. And I have no idea. Over a 20-year stretch from 2004 through 2023, the most watched WNBA Finals game was Game 5 of the 2017 series, which averaged 913. And by the way, if this Finals goes to a Game 5, it's going to be at 1.5 million. And I mean that. It's going to be at 1.5 million. So let's take a look over the past 10 seasons. Like, this is mad. So you can see Indiana versus Minnesota. So it's kind of quite close there at 500K. And what the hell happened in 2018? Washington, Seattle. Like, to be fair, you had like Maya Moore here. That was the year where Maya Moore just didn't play. And I just realized it's not on ABC. That's what happened. That's what happened. So basically what happened was, when they were on ABC, they got decent-ish views, and then when they took them off ABC and went to ESPN, they just tanked. And now they're back on oh my god, it's on ESPN as well, where it's harder to get views than ABC. That's mental. That is mental. And you know what? It's back on actual ESPN. It's not on ESPN2 like the last time they had it in the freaking bubble. Wait, they put it on ESPN2 and there was nothing else on? We were in the damn bubble. We were in a bubble. There was nothing out. There was nothing to do, and it still didn't get... There was no live sports. And it still couldn't get, like, viewership. Even in the freaking bubble. But, dear Lord, the 238K. In fairness, that was to watch the Elena Deladon MMA Saman Washington Mystics against... who played for Connecticut. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas. Was Bonner Connecticut at that stage? Maybe. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I know Jonquel Jones was. But, like, that is mental. Like, it is more viewers. So, Game 1s were on ESPN from 2018 to 2020. And it is roughly 300K more viewers than Game 1 of those 3 years put together. It's not that much different than the Game 1s of both 2023 and 2022 combined. It's like not that much different than the 2 previous years combined. On on ABC, which is easier to see. Like, we can't say that it's not growing. Like, look, is it as big as Caitlin Clark? And by the way, I think Caitlin Clark numbers don't count. They're the equivalent of freaking pandemic numbers on YouTube videos. Like, Caitlin Clark numbers don't count because Caitlin Clark is bigger than the league. Caitlin Clark is bigger than the league. And I think it's okay to say that while Caitlin Clark is bigger than the league, and if Caitlin Clark played an exhibition match, it would get more viewers in the WNBA finals. It's also a fair thing to say that the WNBA is in a 100 times better position than it was in 5 years ago. I think we can agree with that. And the funniest part is I actually think the TV deal is, even without Caitlin Clark, the TV deal is probably the right number. The problem is when you add Caitlin Clark to the mix, like, the chances of this being a good deal drastic go down. No one got that reference, but no, it's like it drastically like drops the chance of it being a good deal, to be honest. The TV deal I got was terrible. It's terrible because of Caitlin Clark. And it said here as well, Game 1 aired directly opposite NFL Thursday Night Football and MLB postseason, which is actually a lighter competition than usual. The finals usually opens on a Sunday afternoon opposite most watch. To be fair, that does make sense. But and I think, to be fair, it does really help the fact that it was two good basketball teams. And I'm sorry, all you old WNBA fans that don't like basketball. I'm sorry for all of you that don't like basketball. Us basketball fans really like these finals. Us basketball fans, super hyped. And I mean this. Super, super hyped. For two good basketball teams. And I genuinely mean that because I'm like, there are a few good basketball teams in the WNBA. There are a lot of bad ones. And I don't mean that, I'm not talking about the individual skills, I'm talking about the way they play basketball. The Sun play puke ball. The Aces do not play good basketball, which is annoying because Becky Hammon is, like, I fully believe you don't keep that job under Pop if you don't know basketball. They just play horrible basketball. The Chicago Sky are just the Connecticut Sun, but 100 times worse. The Mystics, in fairness, Eric Thibault tries. The Wings play fun basketball, they just suck. The Sparks just suck. The Dream, I don't know what the Dream do. Like, they're as bad coaching teams I've seen. The Seattle Storm don't look to be well coached either. But you can see anyone who tuned into this one game, it was like, my whole thing is that a lot of people talk about the Caitlin Clark thing, that it was some manufactured thing. No, it wasn't. It was organic. Caitlin Clark was doing crazy stuff that no one had ever seen before in the women's basketball. And she was carrying Iowa. And that was growing organically. And I think that the 1.14 million for this game is growing organically because this Minnesota Lynx team play really good basketball. If you tuned in to watch the Lynx team, you're like, okay, yeah, I can watch these play. That's the way basketball's meant to be played. What Courtney Williams has been doing in the playoffs is crazy. And what Nafisa Collier has been doing is crazy. And then obviously when it comes to the Liberty have Sabrina Ionescu, they have Breanna Stewart, they have the big names already. So now people are turning on this game, and yeah, there were a couple of missed layups, but that's basketball. Let's be real, it's basketball. It's going to happen. But what we saw was a iffy first half, but a really good second half, and a really good second half comeback from the Minnesota Lynx. We saw crazy shots by Heidemann. We saw Courtney Williams doing a thing. We saw Kayla McBride keeping a minute early. We saw Fee taking over down the stretch. And then on the Liberty side, we saw, what's her name, absolutely light it up. We saw Leni Fevich light it up. We saw John Quell. Like, it was a good game of basketball, which is the most important thing. The reality is that however people come in, the only way for natural and continued growth is that the people that come to the league enjoy the product. And there are a lot of situations where people are going to come in, watch, and just say this basketball is terrible. But the reality of it is that the Minnesota Lynx, the Indiana Fever, the New York Liberty, the Dallas Wings, I'm trying to think who else plays fun basketball. To an extent, to be fair, the Sparks do, they just suck. Sometimes the Phoenix Mercury. But like, the better teams play, the more fun teams are to watch, and the more fun the sport is, the more it's going to continue to grow. That's the reality of the situation.